Yo, what's good, people? Today I'm making another gold and silver video. Today I want to talk about why you should have at least a little gold and silver in your portfolios. Mostly gold, as silver isn't that scarce. All of this silver right here, this is 90 ounces of silver, is only worth one of these coins here and one of these bars. These are all 1 ounce bars and coins. But yeah, all of these silver bars are only worth one of these because silver isn't that scarce and it is constantly being mined. However, silver reserves will run out. Anyways, I'm getting a little off topic here. But yeah, why you should have some gold and silver in your portfolio. Lots of people don't even own stocks, and I'm not a big fan of stocks. I have some stocks, just dividend stocks, not like, big earner stocks that go up in value a lot, just dividend stocks where I get money every quarter. But yeah, most people have stocks or most people have property. And the reason why these aren't as secure as gold and silver is because lots of people believe that property will just continuously go up over time in value. And this isn't necessarily true, especially in the case of a societal collapse that could be coming. I don't think it's necessarily going to be a societal collapse. However, it could be a currency collapse. And when you look at land and houses in the Philippines and, these places we like to call third world countries, I'm not going to get into that debate, but yeah, we like to call them third world countries. There's a reason why these places have such cheap land value and such cheap housing. It's because their currency is worth so little. However, in the current age today, we are still technically first world countries and we are very prosperous. However, this political and geopolitical climate is changing if you look at the world and how things are going. And in 20 years from now, the countries that are first world countries today might not necessarily be considered first world countries, 20 years from now. China's on the rise, India's on the rise, United States is on the decline, UK is on the decline. So the countries that we see today as the richest might not be the richest in 20 years from now. And this goes to show that just because prices are rising right now for land, it won't continue to rise in the future. Land could even go down in the future. As the currency collapses, the police force is going to become worse. The crime is going to go up. We're already seeing it. Crime's going up in the past couple of years since COVID. Not just that, but when the currency collapses, the entire country gets less prosperous. It makes less money. The GDP goes down. Land becomes worth less. Housing becomes worth less. This goes for stocks too, as stocks are companies. And, most people invest in American stocks, stocks in first world countries. There is lots of people who invest in Chinese stocks, but I'd say a majority of people in America, in Canada, in the UK are investing in stocks in their country or in American stocks, the S&P 500. But these are American companies. So these companies do good when America is prosperous. But when America isn't prosperous, what's going to happen to these companies? They're not going to do very great. However, you don't have to worry about this with gold and silver. Gold and silver is global. Gold and silver is a necessity. It is a commodity. These metals are used in all manufacturing across the globe. So you don't have to worry about this with gold and silver. Gold and silver will always continue to go up in value. Whereas you can't say that about American land, Canadian land, American stocks, Canadian stocks. You can only say that when the country is prosperous. So this is why I think you should definitely have some gold and silver in your portfolio. You can take it or leave it, believe me or not. I mean, like I said, it's a long time horizon, like 20, 30 years from now. So I don't know if you're 40, 50 years old, this might be irrelevant to you. But I think even if you are that old, you never know that the debt in these countries is going insane. It's going parabolic. So it could be half a decade till the currencies collapses. You never know. But my time horizon is definitely 20 years. I'm not banking on selling this stuff in the next 5, 10 years and, buying a bunch of land and buying a Lamborghini. I don't even want a Lamborghini, but you know what I mean, right? I'm not banking on getting rich quick when it comes to gold and silver, but I think you should definitely have gold and silver in your portfolio, especially if you have a large time horizon in the future. Not to mention, the United States and these first world countries are getting into a bunch of wars that we shouldn't really be involved in. And that's going to be very bad for the GDP. That's going to be very bad for the national debt. And I mean, initially it might be good for the GDP because that war creates jobs, right? But long term, it'll be terrible for the GDP. I mean, if you look, we're not even in that many wars right now, but if you look at the GDP or the debt to GDP ratio of the United States, we haven't seen this debt to GDP ratio since World War II, and we're not even in a lot of wars yet. I mean, we're starting to get into a lot of wars, but we're not even in a bunch of wars yet. Like, we're not in a World War III quite yet. Some people argue we're at the beginning, and that could be true, but we're not even at that point yet, and we're already at the highest debt to GDP ratio since the end of World War II. So think what's going to happen if World War III does happen and, the world ends up surviving, nuclear war doesn't break out, which probably won't because it's not beneficial to any country to drop nukes unless they just are a terrorist state, But yeah, I'm kind of going off topic here a little bit, but all of this stuff does relate back to gold, silver. This is God's currency. There's no government that controls this. There's no man that controls this. This is God's currency, gold, silver. God controls the supply. Mother Earth controls the supply. We don't control the supply like we do with fiat currency or even cryptocurrency. I mean, Bitcoin does have a fixed supply, but many cryptocurrencies don't. For example, Ethereum, the second biggest cryptocurrency, I think it might be below USDT. I'm not sure. I haven't checked in a while, but USDT doesn't really count. It's just pegged to the US dollar. So USDT doesn't really count in my opinion. But yeah. I think you should definitely have gold and silver in your portfolio. If you don't, you are struggling right now. Like, for example, if you don't even have enough to buy 1 ounce of gold and you're struggling right now, give it 10 to 20 years and you're going to really be struggling. So if you're not hustling and trying to get a hold of as much gold and silver as possible, or even stocks so you can buy gold and silver in the future, just assets in general, but more importantly, gold and silver. If you're struggling right now and you're in a first world country, you're going to really be struggling 10 to 20 years from now. Like, you got no idea. You got no idea what's coming, man. But yeah, take care, everybody.